Hey gang, it's Fillmore. For those of you who are jonesing for the extra Sunday episodes, no longer available on YouTube, you can access them on patreon.com/JimFix, JIMFIXX. If you sign up for the Whiskey Sobbing Computer Board level at $2.50 a month, you'll have access not only to those extra Sunday episodes that are no longer available on YouTube, but you will get 50% of the Patreon content going forward. If you would like full access to all Sunday episodes, all Patreon content, including the last 32 episodes or 33 episodes produced thus far, just sign up for the Black Kluge $5 level or higher. If you want to give us more money, you are more than welcome to. For those of you who don't do PayPal, or Patreon rather, we have a PayPal address as well, johnnythegreek21@gmail.com. For those of you who cannot get Patreon to work and would like to use PayPal as a method of monthly payment, we will only accept donations from the Black Kluge level or higher. And privately, personally, we will send you all the episodes on Patreon and the missing Sunday episodes, of course.
What is the big deal? You are so uptight.
I don't want to be part of any Hollywood establishment. I don't want to meet Hollywood people. I don't want to have anything to do with them. My wife wants to go to these parties and stuff. I'm not interested.
Life. My best friend in the world, I met when I was 4, Mary Wigmore.
You mean to tell me she's not famous and she's your best friend in the world?
She's not famous.
Why would you waste your time with Mary Wigmore? Are you crazy?
Because she's the greatest human ever.
But you have famous friends, right?
I do. I have some famous friends, and I have mostly not famous friends.
Who's your most impressive famous friend that I would be excited about?
I can't believe you did that. First of all, you don't even know if you watched it. You said you were going to do it. I'm a liar. I'm a compulsive liar.
Hour and a half. I have not taken a break. Spread the word about Sirius. We do not take commercial breaks that often. Let's go ahead to Randy.
I'll go out with her.
Okay.
Okay, good. I'll go out with her.
He's under duress here.
I would.
The girl.
I would go out with her.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
First of all, you wouldn't.
No, first of all, you're in a different situation. I got 3 girls at home. My daughter.
What does that mean?
I'm 53 years old. All my girls, when they were young, were in love with black people. I went to visit Ashley at summer camp, and she had a big poster of Usher over her bed.
Oh, yeah?
Usher.
And, it's a little startling. I go, what's this? And she goes, oh, my God, isn't he the hottest thing? And I went, oh, yes, very much so.
Oh, he's very hot.
Very hot. What? I have to get rid of the wrap-up show because, and I'll tell you why. The purpose of the wrap-up show is not to sit there and criticize me. Whatever I'm doing is so that everyone here can make a living. He's doing both things simultaneously.
You may not be totally XY.
That's right.
You could be XXY.
I might be a tranny or a shin, a he-she, or something like that.
I don't believe it.
What?
I don't believe you resumed.
Why?
Because you spent all your life with Ralph and he's gay. How can a heterosexual man spend his life with a homosexual?
First of all, you're trying to be funny. Second of all...
I told you he has this theory that you're gay.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Ralph is my friend. Ralph and I don't spend when's the last time we got together socially? I can't even remember. Believe me, I know one thing. If it was a choice, I'd be gay. Because it'd be a lot easier.
Judith Regan has her own theory.
I think Howard collaborates better with women because he's gay. I actually think that Howard is a gay man trapped in a straight man's body. And Howard works with women, at least he worked with me, the way I've worked with most of my gay authors over the years.
Oh, I watched that horrible movie that won the Oscar.
I knew you would not love Parasite,
God.
and Parasite is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Ding dong 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 dong.
You didn't get to the good part. There was a setup.
I watched the whole movie.
Welcome, guys, back to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Fillmore, a.k.a. Jim Fix, and with me is Sam once again. How you doing, Sammy?
I'm so good. Hi.
And we're going to do part 2 of Tracy Unbound. And just before we get into the video aspect, which I truncated and tried to make it as concise for you guys and left out all the Benji stuff because it's not about Benji, even though he insists on making it about himself. We've got a couple of responses we have from people that took up for Gary after our take and disagreed with us, which is fine. We don't mind that. But we were actually, I know I was a little shocked that people didn't see it the same way, and not because I think I'm so right or Sam thinks our opinions are unassailable, but because it seemed cut and dry to us. But I want Sam to explain a little bit more about what we were talking about.
Well, I like when people give their take, even if it's not our take, because I would never be upset with somebody for not agreeing with me. That's insane. I think it makes for a more richer conversation, But the points that were being made, I thought we sort of made them in the podcast. But if we didn't, now we're going to sort of reassert what we're saying. And I listened to these points. I took them in, but I still disagree with them.
Yeah, same. And it sounded to me like some of the fans in specifically, I won't say the names, but even though I know they wouldn't be too upset if we did, it sounded
and I'm
like
not mad about it, by the way, at all. I enjoy the devil's advocate or
discourse,
just their own opinion on it. For me, it's like, okay, I guess if that's how you see it, I don't see how, but okay.
Well, this is one of the takes, rather to say. So let me just get into it because okay, I got to find the right one. I'll read it out. Sorry, guys, I like the show, but I think you were off base on this one, twisting things in a way to make Bowie sound incompetent, which there may be perhaps an argument for, but this isn't it. This is basic office stuff, except for maybe the refrigerator thing. Well, already, okay, there's one thing that's part of it, and there's nothing wrong with most of it. And it's not that Tracy is a woman. I've met plenty of men, her. I think he misspelled it, but women like her that have an overinflated sense of their own utility and have some insane notion of the amount of respect to which they feel entitled. It was a funny segment on the show. However, she came off looking really bad and petty. By the way, I liked her. The Grillo thing's one of my favorites. You're just way off base on this one. Now, I'm going to just take apart a little of this. First of all, twisting, I don't think we're twisting anything to make Bowie sound incompetent. We're going based on the audio, in which not just Tracy but other people have gone on board and said Bowie is incompetent. They filmed him sleeping. The Howard TV have a collection of Bowie clips we've never seen that of him fucking off in the office, and that we have a history of Howard shitting on Gary that is not shtick because it's constant.
Double book guests, lack of communication, and then we also have the fact that Marcy came in shortly after the Tracy period because of most of, if you can't tell, the summit leak was about office disorganization. Absolutely. And then I will have to say that when he says that basic offense office stuff, except for the refrigerator, well, that is actually offensive. I'm a girl and I can say that would piss me off. And I would also say that I've met plenty of women and men with inflated sense of egos. Yes. Of their own utility. Yes. That does happen in an office.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't like when people feel that they are entitled to more respect than they deserve. But based on just what she was saying, I don't think it was asking that much to send an email or come down to her office just to say that the meeting is canceled. I think that shows a disorganization in the office versus if an office that ran, I don't know, smoothly, like mine, which is like a smooth ship, there's a hierarchy, a tier, an organization that and
from
that
the onset.
If it's not there, then it leads to feelings like this because you're not running a tight ship.
Mm-hmm. And so this person further goes on to say, actually, she's not entitled to equal treatment. I don't get the same treatment as some of my higher up bosses as far as information and work decisions. We're not arguing that, and neither was she. She was simply saying that there's a lack of communication or consistent communication, number one. Number two, there's a lack of delineation of roles within the organization.
She did say, I will push back a little. She did say it's like a boys' club. So when the equal treatment thing when my ears perk up, it's saying, yes, she does deserve equal treatment as the boys. Whatever that is.
Whatever that is. And first of all, she shouldn't be told from the start like that. It's a boys' club. It may be intimidating for you because that's her business. Let her discover for herself what it's like, and she can decide to quit or complain as she feels is her want. And
which is what she was doing.
But when you tell someone, you're giving someone you're giving someone the reason for the way things are going in the office that are maybe not the way it should be. And you're starting her off with the idea that don't complain just because you're a woman ever. There might be some sexual harassment going on. There might be this. You got to look the other way.
Right. And this is also saying some of my higher bosses, as far as information and work decisions, so they don't get the same treatment in regards to that. Yeah, that's true. I'm not privy to some sort of, director's emails, like I wouldn't know what those inner workings are, but that's laid out for me from the get-go of what the tiers are at my office. Clearly, they didn't lay out these tiers and they're ever changing. And he seems to be tasking people with more work, but you don't know if the tiers change. Tracy seemed to be hired as a higher up. Right? An office manager seems to be, the word manager seems to make her some sort of higher up, even regardless of her
it's a position,
years there.
It's management. I mean, you're meant to be in on certain meetings, absolutely, and it doesn't mean she gets to go and meet Howard for which she actually does. It doesn't mean she has like carte blanche to go see the big boss, but she has to be. She's in a position where she has to be in touch with what's his name, Tim Sabian, with Gary, anybody who's responsible for a bunch of other people, Doug Goodstein.
Yeah,
a liaison.
And that. Yes, because she has to run the office.
Yes,
and then it
right.
says, if a meeting is postponed, I don't expect a big boss to come and tell me. Okay, fine. I agree with that. Okay. But here's the problem. Tracy was never told who is going to be communicating these decisions with you. Gary just at a whim decides to tell Jason something. Is that the person that's supposed to be communicating with her? Like I'm saying, this is the office delineation. So supervisors will say things to us, not our director. I would never expect that because that's the protocol. So do you understand what I'm saying? She is expecting Gary to say something to her because she sees herself as at a managerial level.
Yes.
They've never told her otherwise. And then for Jason to sometimes tell her, sometimes forget, not know, this seems to be something that's reoccurring. Well, is this the person that's supposed to be giving me these messages? Because sometimes it's you, Gary, and sometimes it's Jason. There should be a protocol in place in an office to run smoothly.
Yeah. And that should be laid out from the get-go. When she gets hired, the person should be able to say, if I can't get to you, you're going to hear from Will or Jason, who are associate producers, but really should say / step and fetch it guys, / secretaries, / janitors, because so the whole janitorial stuff I find it amazing that it even got to that point. Now, this one last thing it says here, and Gary was the producer for 20 years. That's not why they brought Marcy in, and you know it. Well, actually, it is why they brought Marcy in for a number. Okay, yes, he was in the middle of Stern was involved in a cult. But the reason why he got her was so that she had the balls to fire people, which she did. If Scott Stalem deserved, let's say, to get fired for his treatment of people at the Christmas party, then Gary should have been able to be the one to do it. But Wiggy knew that he needed Gary to goof on, pretty much, and he needed him for just content, basically. But he couldn't count on him to be a producer because he knows he's useless as he's useless as tits on a bull. Marcy, he can give Marcy the job. No one knows her, and she's got Howard's ear.
This is just balderdash. Like, unbelievable that you can't watch that whole summit, and it's a passive aggressive, if not aggressive, swipe at the literal
running
awfulness
of the office
that Gary is at his job. There is nothing and nobody that can tell me every single facet of that program was based on Gary.
Yeah, Yeah, it's all about basically it's all about Bowie and his lack of. But now the thing is, again, the fault lay at that time with Howard, who wouldn't actually tell Gary, this is the way things should go. I want you to do this. They were running by the seat of their pants, and that natural chaos sort of became why the show was good.
We love that, and that's what I'm saying. It's like Gary also didn't know, so you want to take this in this direction. See, this the problem. We're not saying it's all Gary's fault. It's Howard's fault.
Yes, absolutely.
But the fact that the office didn't have a structure the way that normal offices structure, the way that normal offices do, that is a huge problem. And that's why Marcy came in. So there's our rebuttals to the critiques, which I do appreciate. I just don't agree.
Yeah, but feel free to take us to task for anything you don't agree with, guys, because it creates discourse, and ultimately that's more fun than everybody just going in the same direction. And in terms of the ski house thing, once again, nobody would have a problem. Tracy's going to explain it in this video that it was seemingly kept like a secret, and then people that weren't invited were upset because it was made to be as if don't mention it because it's very hush hush.
I don't think Tracy would have went to the ski thing. I just think this is another exclusionary tactic that, made her not feel like a part of the show, a part of the office, a part of these people that she works with every day.
As for the ski house thing, guys, well, that's, again, I agree Bowie should have no problem with who he invites to it, as long as it's all up on, as long as he tells people about it and doesn't make it like it's some kind of secret, because, that will only cause bad feeling amongst the office workers who feel, I'll never get to that tier, I don't belong there. But then when they're treated like we're part of the on-air staff, that's where the problems come. They feel like they're on the same level, but they're not. And then they're not told they're not on the same level. If you tell them, this is for so-and-so, and you guys are down here. Sorry, I know it seems rough, but that's the way it is. Then
exactly.
Then there's no question. You might be upset about it, but at least it's been laid out for you.
And that's when you saw in the entire leaked footage of the summit, he started already talking about these roles that he wanted people in, and that he wanted these tiers of people. We're going to have these teams, and they're going to communicate solely and report to this person. And so he was already talking about this sort of organizational structure that he wanted to exist in the office. So that is the reason why Marcy was brought in.
Yep. And so here we go with the next day, guys, or at least a couple. I think it's the next day or the next 2 days after. And they've got a little bit of clip. And this is intro on the happy hour. So you're finally seeing video.
My topic for tonight is Gary fucking Baba Booey Delabate. Gary, you fuck. I love you. I do. And I don't consider you a piece of shit, but you're kind of a piece of shit. When I first started here, he always said to me, it's a boys club, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be hard for you. The only fucking one that treats me any different than everybody else is Gary. Take the 10 extra.
That's my point. That was my point with that person. When you go into a job and that's what you're told,
he's setting himself up to look like an idiot. You're
already not an equal.
No.
So when he's saying, I've gotten unequal treatment, was it outlined for you that you were going to be treated like, did you think you were going into the Spice Girls? Like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. You should not be, that should not be the office environment.
That shouldn't come out of the manager, the producer's mouth, that it's a boys club or any of that shit. He should be going and thinking, well, it's an equal opportunity environment, blah, 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 blah. You're going to get the respect you get based on the quality of work you provide.
Now, I'll level with you here. Listen, it was that time period of when it was what it was. It was a boys club.
Yes.
And you could have warned her saying, listen, this is a very male-dominated atmosphere. You might be uncomfortable in certain situations, but I'm sure you know what you're getting yourself into by wanting to work here. I think it's amazing that you're putting yourself out here and wanting to come into this environment that's mostly male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
So
but just be
Gary
warned.
should have made her more comfortable instead of aggressively warning her like that. Like instead of making her putting her on edge.
Yeah, prepared to be stifled once in a while. Prepared to be excluded from conversations and then finding out about them after the fact.
Like say, but we wanted you here because we need this energy in this office and we are an equal opportunity employer. We think that you can bring something to this and your energy is exactly what we need. You know?
Sure. Yeah, you come highly recommended, all that crap. But the idea is, and anyway, I think it's funny because she came from the record industry and so did Ross, and she and Ross don't get along. I don't know if it's a little competition there, but either way, I love that aspect.
Ross is
of that
like
first
a
part.
slimier Tommy Mottola. I hate him.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Fucking steps, stop playing Sporkle or fucking solitaire or whatever the fuck it is, and come and tell me what you need to tell me. It's not my fucking job to clean out your fucking refrigerator. You made me order another one so it wouldn't fucking happen, and the fact that you called me in there, you can't intercom me to tell me that a fucking meeting's canceled. But
this is the thing that also I found amazing. The way she explains it, they ordered another refrigerator, so this wasn't going to happen, but yet it happened. That's where you get on fucking Gary, and you're supposed to say like, no. This was to circumvent such a thing happening. You allowed it to happen. It's your fuck up. Own up to it. And yes, I agree with Gary what he's going to say later. She should have told him right away, not wait a year after it happened, whatever, because apparently this is all quite in the past. It's not recent, but it's coming out. And Tim Sabian's the one who requested her be on this show anyway. So she's giving them what they want. He doesn't like what he's hearing. He has to combat it.
Well, of course he does.
It's all personal for Gary. He's not even addressing. That's the main point of our first episode. He's not addressing her point by point. He's just blanketing it all in one thing, asking you to believe, as you said, a straw man's argument. It's just about respect. Fuck this. And it's Wiggy. I was going to say Wiggy 2.0. It's actually Wiggy 0.01. It's like a low percentage, shitty, diluted version of Wiggy. And he's unable to back his own arguments up because he has none.
It really is. And I like that you did say, for on Gary's end, she should have brought this up sooner. But if he wanted this implemented and was too much of a pussy to say, hey, I bought another fridge, we need to change the fact that you're putting shit in my fridge, then he should have told Tracy to give that memo out. Said, hey, can you email people and tell them to stop putting shit in my fridge? But she never got that memo because Gary is a disorganized monkey and cannot fucking function properly.
Well, the other thing is, that's my whole point. If you got the new fridge, how is it that people still feel after the fact that they can still put stuff in your refrigerator? It's because you're too much of a pussy, meaning Gary, to tell them, don't do that. That's not for you. This is for me specifically now. And really, I don't even know why he didn't have one of his own to begin with if he's a fucking producer. What's a fridge?
Yeah, we just started in our office. We have like a fridge and we were having this problem where people were leaving things in forever and then it just got so full. So we have a rule now where it stays for a week. And on Friday, if your shit isn't out of the fridge, it's getting thrown out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So there was clearly no such policy at the Stern Show, and that's another strike against Gary and obviously by extension, Howard.
You can intercom me to come and clean out your fucking refrigerator? Fuck you, you fuck.
By the way, Tracy got a ton of email last night.
She's here.
Yeah. Oh, she is. Did you guys see each other?
Yeah, she came to me, talked to me about business, and I was very...
But was it awkward?
Totally awkward for me, not for her.
Nothing was said about last night's show.
No. She came in to talk to me.
Now, Bowie's coming in like he's such a pussy.
No, he's such a... Look at this folded arms.
Yeah.
No, I didn't talk about awkward for me.
Yeah, he's a victim.
It's all about you. You're such a victim because she let you have it. And look at it. Look at his fucking face. I just want to punch it.
It's the slit right above the right below the nose. Like that's what people for years have been going. That's why you call him monkey breath. Not just because he really does look like he's descended from apes.
It does. It looks like a trough, like a feeding trough.
And those teeth. I'm thinking of how many chimpanzees I've seen doing the same thing when they're smiling at people. Now, here's the thing. He's got his arms crossed, as you said. He's defensive. It's a defensive posture that you put up because you're not willing to listen to anything. And that's exactly his approach to this whole thing. And okay, I can't argue with you. Same as the first part. But when Tracy comes in, it's high stress for her. It's high stress for Gary, but for different reasons, because he feels he's protected by Howard and by Rob and by being in there. So in a way, he's a lot like them as well. But then when Tracy comes in, she's by herself and she's going to hold her own. I think it's quite commendable.
I said, save it for the air. And then she said, so we had to talk about business. And I said, okay, distribute those accordingly. You know what to do. And
right.
And then she walked away. I said, I say that respectfully.
Tracy and Gary just had their first interaction. It was awkward. I don't know who wrote that, but evidently everyone in the office was on edge. Well, there's a lot of debate whether Tracy should really do the show. I thought the show was a home run in the sense that she did the happy hour. She delivered. She delivered.
It was, yeah.
But unfortunately,
there's that screen again. Jesus Christ. She's always on that fucking screen.
Oh my God. It just hide. Anytime there's confrontation where she's like, oh, I have to defend a woman. Let me stare at the screen.
Why not?
God forbid.
You were the victim, Gary.
Yeah.
She called you an asshole.
A fucking asshole.
A fucking asshole.
Piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
A lazy fuck.
She never called him a lazy fuck. She never called him a lazy fuck. She implied that he's a lazy fuck, but she never said it. That's key, everybody. Doesn't get brought up.
I will. You're a lazy fuck. Let's go.
Yes, that's right.
You don't invite her to your ski house.
Fuck you.
My chalet.
Yeah. Do you want me to bring Tracy in so that maybe you could have some closure?
I mean, we probably need to finish it off, and I'd rather do it with you than
not with me.
Well, and
then by myself and deal with it on a one-to-one basis, which is what a manager should do.
I'd rather not hear from the person that thinks I'm basically passive aggressively harassing them and treating them like a maid. But sure, why not?
Bring her in.
Get crazy on the wrap-up show, right?
All right.
If we're gonna do it all on the air, let's live life on the air.
All right, Tracy, come on in if you don't mind, and let's. Well, look, listen, first of all, I feel Tracy did a very good radio show. She did. She did a good show. Whether or not the show is healthy for the office environment is another consideration.
But do you care?
Well, I care that everyone's comfortable. Tracy, you did it.
You care that everyone's comfortable.
For you today, the day after the happy hour, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, I was up last night a lot.
You were upset about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right. Listen, you did nothing wrong in the sense that that's the show. The show is you spouting and spewing out your feelings. You get the poison out, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Right. Nevertheless, it does cause discomfort between you and Gary the next day.
She looks like in the face, that model, Gia, who died in 1986. Angelina Jolie played her in a TV movie. That Gia, it's Carangi. Karangi. Gia Karangi. But she looks like her in the face a lot.
Okay.
Sure.
Right.
I think there's a difference between being mad at an ex-intern that never worked under her and trashing the shit out of your boss. It's a different level. I'm not saying that she's not allowed to do it, but I'm allowed to be upset by it.
Absolutely. And so would an intern. Anybody could be upset by it.
I love that. It's true. Like, I'm allowed to be upset. Well, who's permitted and not permitted to have feelings, you fucking monkey?
Plus, you gave her a show to do specifically this task.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me.
But the point
what did you want her to do a show on?
Yeah.
And, I think it came up, to be honest with you, I left my radio here.
Right.
So I think you said, you were talking about the cleaning of the refrigerator.
Yes.
Or you had said, well, why doesn't she ever come to me on this stuff? I come to you all the time. You just don't listen to me. Because I did tell you how I felt about the refrigerator. We had the conversation. You don't remember because you don't listen to me.
And how did I respond when you said that? Was I mean? Have I ever spoken to you in a demeaning way?
Okay. Again, this ties into the first part that where you said it's he's bringing up about the message, the style of the message as opposed to the message itself. Is there any kind of word from Gary? He's going on about, did I tell it to you in a mean way? Getting hung up on the presentation. It's irrelevant. It's the content.
It's completely fucking irrelevant.
Right. Now, it would be also an issue if he was a mean asshole and said, look, clean out the fucking refrigerator, cunt.
Listen, it's irrelevant because you also got the second refrigerator and you could have told her to send a memo to say, have the staff stop putting things in this refrigerator. But you never delineated that task. So this is your fault entirely, Gary.
Have I ever said to you, hey, I'm the fucking boss, do what I say or shut the fuck up? Anything like that?
That's not the point. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you, whether you want to admit it or not, you treat me differently than you do the rest of the staff.
I think, Tracy, you think everybody treats you differently. You feel
That's
wronged.
not true.
You feel wronged by probably the whole world. You feel wronged by everybody. You feel like there's a lack of respect and everybody walks on eggshells around you. And for the most part, people like you. And I told Howard off the air, and Howard will back me up on this.
Okay.
Give me a bat right now to fucking home run his head off. Listen to me. You are making that straw man argument again to her face to say, oh, you feel disrespected by the world, Tracy. Right. What do you fucking know? How can you even say that to her when she's specifically naming what she feels disrespected by? Gary, she's not telling you that she feels disrespected by the world. She feels disrespected by you for the specific thing that you're doing. And instead of taking responsibility for it, you're folding your arms like a cocksucker and saying, oh, you feel disrespected by the world, Tracy.
Right.
Oh.
What you're doing is actually like a Ray Stern, which really becomes a Howard Stern thing, and you're conflating something that isn't there. And the actual truth of it is, if there weren't a whole mass of people under you and Tracy who felt like she did, or felt like, Gary is this kind of pompous shithead and he's not a particularly good and efficient manager, it wouldn't even get to this point, because work would be getting done, business would be getting taken care of, refrigerator would be clean, free and clear, and everything would be kosher. But instead you want to do this like minimizing it by saying, oh, it's generalizing. Oh, you're upset. Everybody's upset. Everybody's upsetting you. It's just you. It's just you. It's no different than saying you can't take a joke. I'm just joking. Like this cover.
By the way,
cover.
After this episode, don't you think so many people are going to find me so approachable and and so fun? And who wouldn't want to date me?
Well, I mean, there's assertiveness.
I sound like it's not a bad thing.
What's the word they
assertive?
call it? They used to call it back in the day, not just assertive, brassy, I think was the term they used. Like bold as brass, meaning, very very forward, very direct, very ballsy, really.
Tell the truth. I don't know. When did that become ballsy?
Well, either way. Well, yeah, I know now it is actually the only thing rebellious in a fucking world where that's a permissive loony bin is telling the fucking truth, and nobody wants to do it because everybody wants to be,
liked.
Well, yeah. I mean, you want Instagram followers, you want this and that. Okay, so let's continue on, and again, Gary being under the protection of the wolf right here is not doing him any favors, because now he's coming off really bad in front of an audience and on camera.
Oh, yeah. And now his arms are unfolded. So let's see what he has to say. Come on, flow, Gary.
You do the best job of your actual job of anyone who's ever done this. It's the people skills where it gets weird. People come to me, they're afraid of you. You get mad at somebody and weeks on end, you just ignore them. And it's probably not a healthy way. And I probably should have spoken to you about it earlier than now. It probably.
So you're admitting number one, you're admitting you have no bad communication with Tracy, or you're afraid of her. Either way, you're trumped. And then on the second aspect, it's Benji that he's referring to. People come to me. Later, it's revealed it is Benji. He is not people. He's one person.
And he's a weirdo. And this is just the fuck. Oh,
it's excruciating. When you make one person into people, that's like Wiggy saying, I got a couple friends. I have this army of friends.
I'm more mad that he's saying, but I could have came to you, but I didn't. I should have. Well, then you should have, but you didn't.
Right.
And
so who's at fault there?
Again, the roles aren't defined. So maybe everybody's uncomfortable because nobody knows what their role is and who's in the higher up, who's not in the higher up. Who should I report to? Who should I not report to? What should I say? What should I not say? This is all your fault.
It's funny. The office pre-Marcy Turk is run on fear because that's how Howard likes it. He wants you on your toes, not knowing if your job's getting renewed. He wants you to know that this isn't your job, but you're tasked to do it. So it is part of your job, but I'm just not going to tell you. That adds to more stress and more aggravation. Hold on. And then now post-Marcy Turk, it's still fear, but now it's organized fear. Now there is a hierarchy. You go to this person, you go to that person.
Communism fear.
And they've added more layers to it, saying like, don't make eye contact with him. You got a problem for Howard, to address it to me. Human resources gets approached. No, it doesn't matter what Marcia Turk and who she fucks. She's got Howard's ear. She's still going to get preferential treatment, and you're not going to get her fired because Howard's the ultimate boss. At this point, the buck gets passed her. It's Tim's job. I don't know. I call her the office manager. It's my job. It's Howard's job. And then on the wrap-up show, what I found from this day, he goes, I can't fire anybody. You're a paper producer. Paper tiger.
It's Stalin-esque in this office at the Marcy era, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But at this point, it's very disorganized. It's just very, nobody knows who they're talking to or who they're supposed to talk to. And when he's saying this now, it's because he's grasping for tree branches here to fucking pull his ass out of whatever he's in because he knows he's wrong, and it makes him look even worse. So you never even brought this up to her. How would she know then?
Right. Was she supposed to telepathically understand that?
So somebody said this behind her back, but you never brought it up to her? That's your fault.
That's right. And why wouldn't you direct both of them to go to human resources and talk about it together, or whoever? Just literally say, and for all you know, of course, during the course of this argument, she's already gone to Benji, or Benji's already gone to her and dealt with it. And this is not actually truth anymore.
And maybe they're such unprofessionals. Maybe she did give him a vibe of like, what the fuck are you doing? WTF? Yeah. And they just didn't know how to deal with a professional person because they're so used to dealing with such unprofessionals who don't care if they don't actually complete their tasks or represent themselves professionally. And I'm not saying that the Howard Stern show, because we always say that we love the way it was free flowing, and that could have still been that way. But when it comes to the office stuff, when
there still has to be a structure.
Things about meetings or about business, you have to have a structure for that. I'm not saying the on-air stuff. What Howard did is he took the business structure and he put it in the on-the-air talent. That was the problem.
It had to be organized chaos. On some level, there had to be some kind of backbone. Now, one thing I got to say, I sent this to Richie Wilson, the first episode. He loved it, by the way. And
he did?
He did. And then I asked him for confirmation on a couple things. He hasn't got back to me yet, but if he does, and I'm sure he will, I'll give that in a future episode. But I did ask him. He did answer this. I asked, what was the turnaround period on this particular Howard TV video? Because I know sometimes it might take a week, and for certain episodes to air and blah blah blah. He said, I think it was pretty immediate, meaning the Howard TV crew wanted this out there ASAP because they were all they all know Gary's a useless piece of shit.
Good.
Yeah, so I find that funny. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for putting the rush on this one.
Yeah, ASAP.
Yep.
I probably let it go on a little too long because I don't like conflict.
Well,
but that's good. A manager that doesn't like conflict, that means can't deal with it when it arises, even if it has nothing to do with him, especially if it has nothing to do with him.
It's not even conflict so much as it's issues.
Yes.
You're dealing with issues. This is issues that come up.
Let's say problems instead of conflict, like disagreements or misconceptions, like clearing up things. He should have all the answers. There should be in a book. There should be some kind of Bible. You know how McDonald's has the McDonald's Bible, and the employees got to study every aspect of it, whatever. There should be something at any workplace, some legal, like something that's been ratified and adjusted and amended.
I even have a handbook, like when I'm working on a case or something, like, for example, what if I work for, I do investigations for welfare fraud. And sometimes, like, we get something that's out of my league, like where it's like, they're selling food stamps and public assistance and their benefits in a prostitution way, where it's like, then they're juxtaposing people's images on other people's bodies. And then they're saying, we will take food stamps for credit, like in a Cash App for that. Like you can give us this for that. We could trade. Once it gets past that, then I have to like give it to a different league. Like I can't work on that because that goes into a different realm.
That's not your that's not your focus. That's not your area of expertise.
I can't. That goes above.
Right.
Because
but there is but the whole point is there is a level where that can go to and it gets shunted to them.
Yes.
Okay.
But you have to know what to do. And that's what I'm saying. Like this has no.
You're not supposed to take that thing and go, fuck, what do I do? I'll just leave it alone.
I don't know what to do with this. I'll just bring it up on the air a few months later when somebody else brings it up to me because it was been sitting on my desk for 2 years gathering spider webs.
Let's just hope it disappears between now and then.
Right? Like, hey, remember that prostitution food stamp case? Oh, yeah, it's still sitting on my desk. Oh, yeah, now that you mention it, I'm going to, I didn't know what to do with this.
Let me just leave that sandwich in the fridge for a year. You know what I mean? That's pretty much on the level of what Gary's doing. And that's someone who, he's just admitted he doesn't like conflict. What it is he doesn't like to problem solve. He doesn't actually like to do anything that requires work. I mean, the work that he wants to do is get in touch with publicists, maybe finagle some fucking connections for himself for free tickets to this or that, get concert tickets, whatever else. If it's going to self-aggrandize him, great. But if it's his job, like something, the nitty gritty, because I understand it. Jobs are by nature of being work. They're not fun. They're not typically fun. And grunt work and paperwork, no one likes to do these things, but they're necessary. So if you have to have that things on a schedule and you have to do whatever, you have to have open communication, even with somebody you don't like, you have to be professional and do it and just suck it up, Buttercup.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I'm sure Tracy might not have been easy to work with, especially in that atmosphere. But who knows if the atmosphere made her more antagonistic as a personality, because that's the only way she was going to get respect in that atmosphere. Because obviously from the get-go, this is a boys' club. So she's got to be one of the guys and tell you to go suck my dick to get any respect.
Exactly.
So what do you expect? You want someone so you're telling someone they're already at a disadvantage because they got a pussy. What do you think they're going to do if they have any kind of balls? And Tracy certainly does have balls.
And they're going to get the biggest fucking balls you've ever seen. So that's why you got what you got. Enjoy it.
And the reason she got the pop she did for this episode is because she nailed you completely. Anybody that disagrees with us, again, feel free to. But I'm telling you, the reason why everybody on the staff loved this is because she went after Bowie specifically. Scott, not so much. And Grillo and whatever. Again, that's something we could cover another time on Patreon maybe. But the Scott one was actually fascinating because it was explained. Scott took the criticism and didn't yell on the air. And he explained afterwards, I realized that you have to just let it pass and then discuss it calmly off the air and deal with it. And he did. And that's way unlike Scott would have been 10, 15 years earlier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, does anybody remember?
Well, this
hits of Scott.
Get out of here, Ganji. I love that clip.
I don't know who necessarily feels that way or who said that to you. I mean, I have... I hang out with these people, the ones that I care about socially outside the office. I know their wives. I know their girlfriends. I hang out with them. I consider them friends. The ones that aren't my friends, I really don't care.
But do you think it's healthy to stop talking to somebody for 2 or 3 weeks at a time?
The only person that I'm not talking to and haven't been talking to is Benji.
But there you go. So he says people, she says flat out. I'm going to, rather than be the pussy you are and couch around it and not mention the person, I'm going to tell you who it is on the air. And he's right there.
Because I know who it is, and because I live my life in an authentic way. Unlike you, Gary, who has to couch everything in vagaries and people and things. And fuck you. I don't talk to Benji, the weirdo who gives dirt on me and says things that you like to hear.
Yeah.
History being.
I'm not talking to him either. If I want to go,
we all try to
look at him.
Who?
Look
Benji?
His fucking crooked smile. You see how he retorts that jagged ass fucking grin? Yeah,
Oh, God.
go fucking repel.
The history of being here for 4.5 years, has he been the only person you ever talked to for long periods of time?
You can all bond over hate over me.
What is that?
I'm glad you can all bond over hate over me.
Tracy, let me ask you a question. And
He's just hoping to get air. That's what he just did. He just made some huge, uproarious thing. You guys can all just hate over me.
Right. First episode,
because you
that's
want
what I
air,
said.
because it's about me.
That's right. Absolutely. And the other thing is with Benji, guys, which I'm not even going to bother going into because I don't like Benji. He might be useful for certain situations like some kind of ratchet that doesn't fit every, you don't use it for every job. But he fits, he's useful in some ways when we want to go after Howard. But for the most part, I hate getting involved in Benji shit.
I like Benji after the Marcy era. That's where I like Benji. I don't like Benji before Marcy.
That's about right. That sounds perfect to me. Because again, beforehand, I had no time for him, and I hated hearing them say, "Oh, a lot of the stuff he writes that's funny for Howard, he doesn't get credit for." I still haven't heard it yet.
Oh, listen, like I said, the only thing about Benji that made me change my mind about him is when the Marcy era happened, and all of a sudden it became a propaganda. Just a ton of propaganda. And all of a sudden we were like, where are we going to get some truth in how this is actually going in the show? And the only kernels of truth that came were from Benji. So that was when I started liking Benji. That was it.
Yeah. And even the wrap-up show became neutered and a shadow of itself. So you wouldn't get it from there. You might get it from a caller. But again, those got stomped out as well after Marcy. So
wrote this dialogue. Is the Tracy happy hours, as much radio gold as it is it worth continuing? Because you are in an awkward position. You're the office manager. And therefore, maybe Gary is making a good point that it's impossible for you to do the show properly.
I agree.
Okay, I'm going to let this play out a little bit more.
Do your job properly.
The two people that I've brought up on it were Scott and Gary. Right. And Scott, even after the next day when we talked on the wrap-up show, him and I had kind of an awkward discussion on air about what he really thought the issue was. And I said, no, I don't think that's the issue. We went back and forth. And the next day, Scott and I totally made up. And I think now we get along better than ever.
You're saying the communication led to a healthier relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Because I think we got to the root of the problem based on what went on the show.
Okay, so she sounds extremely measured, and she's very conciliatory in her tone. I don't know anybody who's going to listen to her and think that she's full of shit. She's inflating the problems with Gary just to make airtime, even though Tim wanted her to be as loud and sort of abrasive as possible for the purposes of the show, but doesn't detract from the content of the message.
No, you're 100% right, Fillmore. You're 1,000% right. That's exactly what she's doing. And on top of that, she was asked to do this show, and by Howard obviously greenlit it. Mm-hmm. So why are you saying this? Why are you saying this? You should say, that the listeners love it. Mm-hmm. Putting that to her is actually shutting it down, but he's trying to shut it down by her omission. So then he doesn't have to be guilty for shutting down Happy Hour because listeners like it. So
interesting observation.
He's doing that thing where he's saying, don't you think that this is going to be a problem for you, Tracy? Do you think you should continue on? And that's going to put her to cancel herself versus actually Howard doing this. Because it is a problem, because eventually it's going to lead to criticism of Howard. And he fucking knows it.
Oh, yeah. He's doing the whole babe in the woods things. Like, I don't know. This is whatever. Like, what do you think? Basically, you make the decision for me because I'm also a fucking cowardly piece of shit and can't just make an executive decision. I have to have someone else do the dirty work or whatever.
Just because of my job, like I genuinely observe people constantly. So I just know what their angle is. And I'm pretty good at reading people.
And on top of that, I mean, decades of listening to the show too helps big time. Like we know what
and now we know the
after.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we know the result.
Yes.
We probably could have gotten to the root of the problem in my office.
We could have, but again, you don't listen to me. You don't make time for me. You would rather sit in the bullpen and talk about the fucking Mets or Bruce Springsteen than actually have a discussion with me.
Tracy, do I stop by your office? Do I stop by your office once a week?
No.
Once every 2 weeks to sit down, ask you what you're up to?
Come on. Come on. In 4.5 years, Gary, we've had lunch 3 times.
Okay, 4.5. There you go. Did you hear it, guys? Now forget the lunch.
Complex.
Forget the lunch thing, guys. It just goes to show you that, it's
right on the tip of his tongue.
It is. So she at first he goes in the first part. If you guys go back and listen, I believe he says, "I see her every couple weeks, just to touch base on how you're doing." Now he's saying, "Oh, every once a week," and she's like, "What are you fucking talking about?" Which means it's probably it's less than once a week, less than twice, less than once every 2 weeks, probably even less than maybe once or twice a month tops.
So he's caught in a lie, and instead of admitting he's lying, instead of doing the honest thing and saying that he's lying, he's going to flip it and say she has an inferiority complex. Why? Because she's a fucking woman? Fuck you.
Well,
fuck you. Double middle fingers.
He's 2 steps away. He's 2 steps away from saying, "It's that time of the month, Howard. I don't want to fucking deal with this. She's on a rag. Fuck it."
If I were at a home opener, I would fucking bull rush him and just poof, take his ass right out.
Oh, man.
3 times.
Okay, and how many times have I had lunch with Will and Jason? I don't take people out to lunch.
I take them skiing, and then you offer to take them to the Friars Club.
But on the skiing thing, Gary explained.
We're not friends. We're not friends.
Hold on.
You're friends
Hold
with
on.
the guy.
You don't even. There's an explanation which you're unaware of.
All right,
Let
go
him
ahead.
talk.
Well, Gary was claiming this morning the ski trip was. He says in everyone's mind the ski house is like a ski chalet because it's a little shack that I rent.
Okay, a little more, guys.
And he says, and there's 1 bedroom. So I brought 4 guys. They're all in their underwear. He says, there's no way it would have been appropriate to bring a woman there who works with us. And, I get that.
I just feel like the way things go on with Gary in the office, everything is like a secret. And then at the last minute, everyone who wasn't invited to something finds out that these 5 came to a barbecue. These 4 were invited to this. It's always the same people on the outside finding out from other people and him being secretive about it.
Okay. So there you go. Okay.
That's exactly it. Imagine having an office Christmas party or something, You're going to have a gift exchange.
Barbecue,
and then you're not going to
baseball get together, something.
And it's going to be my team, but everybody but me.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fucked up. But again, we don't know who the teams are or who the tiers are. And whose fault is that? Boom. Gary.
Yeah. But it's also, again, but it's top down. So it's Howard's fault as well. It's Gary's fault. It's Tim Sabian's fault as well. Because there's somebody in management should be doing their fucking job. And clearly nobody's doing their job.
It's unbelievable that Tim Sabian or Howard or somebody was like, we have a lot more people now in this office, in this organization, now that we've been on Sirius for so long. We need some sort of structure here.
Yeah.
But apparently it just went on, let's hire people, but not tell them what their structure is, not tell them what the pay structure is, not tell them when they're getting raises, not tell
them. Keep in the dark.
Not tell them when they can get promoted, not tell them when there is a promotional option.
Well, look, at the end of this episode, we're going to go into it. And guys, you're going to be fucking infuriated more at Howard than anybody during this whole thing. That's the funny part, because it bleeds into, because this is 2010, April, somewhere around that, 2010. And he's got to re-sign. He's not telling anybody. And they go into a discussion about it. And by the end, you're going, you fucking piece of shit, to dangle that in front of these people at a time when the United States, at this point, job searching is fucking brutal. And as Sam explained in a previous episode, and you want to have them fear-based, and Sussy, who does leave, this is, by the way, the same day, or this is the day after Sussy was in and berated for 40 minutes. So that's on everybody's mind as well. And I'm certain Howard TV got that one turned around in record time as well, to make Howard look as stupid as he does look, and as much of an asshole.
That actually is a really important part to the exposition of all of this.
Oh, yes.
Because Sussy Sussy doing that really freed the gates for the employees to realize, especially in the time period they were dealing with in 2008, 2010, with such an economic downturn of our economy in the United States and the housing market, everything. It was horrible what people lost during that and how the bankers made out and how all the big corporations made out and got bailouts. But the people who had the mortgages, who were sold those bill of fucking goods, did not. It was obscene. So this is a really, Sussy's whole episode is a great exposition to this sort of, turmoil.
The atmosphere, yeah, like a soundtrack to, this really explains, it's almost documentary if you think about it in a way, the exposition.
It truly is, because you're watching middle-class people in New York City saying, I'm fighting for my goddamn life here, and you're fucking with me?
Yeah.
You're fucking with me right now.
Right,
Are you
right,
fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know who makes an announcement.
It feels like people are almost told not to talk about it.
No, it feels that way to you. Because you have this.
Wrong, because I've had the discussion with the other guys.
You have a complex. You think the world is out to get you.
You're wrong.
If you invited 4 people to your house, would you come to me and tell me? If I'm not one of them,
I wouldn't make it seem like it's a secret.
I don't make it seem like it's a secret either. People tend to treat it.
She's saying that it's a secret, and it is a secret because she doesn't find out until later.
Yeah.
And again, he's putting this proposition and he's putting this label on her constantly. You have an inferiority complex. You are this. This is what the media does all the time, and Gary is taking such a page for it. When you don't want to answer the truth or the question, you just label them something. And then if you label them that slur or that delineation of whatever you think they are, then you don't have to answer to them. You don't have to actually answer to their specific claims. If you say they're this, they're that, they're this, it's disgusting. It's despicable.
Well, it's disingenuous to say the least. And I think the key thing here is if Gary had confidence in himself and confidence in the communication and the friendship and work communication levels were strong, everybody could know about something like this going on and not get upset about it. He's clearly been propagating it for years, and he's going there is nothing wrong with inviting only the people you like, and they happen to be work friends, coworkers and friends outside of work. There's nothing wrong with that. People do it all the time. They hang out with coworkers sometimes they don't. They're just friendly at work, and that's where it ends. But then to keep people in the dark about it and then they find out about it implies that you want them kept in the dark, implies that you don't want them to know about it because you know they're going to feel bad. And if they feel bad, you're going to hear about it, and you don't want that to happen. That means it's meant to be a secret. You don't have the confidence, and you know that they're going to be angry. So rather than actually keep it in the open, I'll keep it secret and hope for the best. That's not the way a successful office can run.
No.
Not this particular kind of office.
No, and by the way, this is just giving me fuel for my union meeting on the 16th. I can't wait.
You'd use it as a how not to.
Oh, I just can't wait. I'm just loading up on anger. Let's go.
Okay.
If they treat it that way, that's not me. I don't tell people don't say anything to Tracy.
You're saying
that's
that
in
it's
your
my
head.
complex, but I've had the conversation with the other people who tell me they feel the same way.
Well, they might, but I'm not telling anybody
then
not to say
Don't tell me that it's me. Don't tell me that I'm the one with the fucking complex. When I'm telling you, other people are saying the same thing.
It's you.
It's okay. Then apparently I'm having the fucking.
So again, Gary is putting everything on Tracy. It's Tracy's fault, not anyone else's. Fuck you, Bowie.
I'm sorry. I'm going to need to take a Xanax or something. I'm just kidding.
Conversation with myself.
I think you have a lot of conversations with yourself. No, I do. I think you have a lot of conversations with yourself where you feel everybody agrees.
She does, Gary. She does. She has a lot of conversations with herself. That's what you think. That's what you think instead of thinking about what the fuck you do. Instead of actually hearing what she's saying, you're gonna think about what she does. Which this is her fault, right? We're all crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm crazy. Let's go.
Okay.
Respect, and if you don't you're either with Tracy or against Tracy. There's no in between. And if you don't fully support Tracy, then you're her enemy.
Listen, there are a lot of people here I know damn well don't fully support me. Don't kid yourself about that. That's
See, I love the radio of. You did a great job last night, but I maybe for work it's not so good.
Well, you know what? I think she should continue.
Well, then don't fucking give her a show. Then don't fucking give her a show. This is just absolutely crazy to me. Instead of you asked her to do this, you put her on the happy hour. You said, "Go do this." She named her own show. She's doing exactly what you fucking told her to do. And you are now saying, maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Well, because he's the puppet master. He's loving it that Gary's upset. He's loving it that Gary's going after her and basically assailing her character. She's not. I love the fact that she's not just taking it up the ass.
She's a hero. She's my spirit animal. Go, Tracy.
The show because she's already fucked over she's already fucked over her boss. Anybody else she screws over won't be as big, won't be as bad, but it won't be as bad as this. So I say continue to do the show.
Well, listen.
Well, we could.
So now you're claiming you're her boss. Now you're claiming you're her boss. So what is it like? So now you before it's a little ambiguous. I don't know. Like she's not responsible for. I'm not responsible for her. Not really sure. But now you're her boss. So which is it, fuckhead? She should know. She should know from the fucking onset. I report to Gary. Gary's the guy who tells me what's what. When he doesn't tell me anything and I have to make up the fucking rules myself, how is that supposed to make for a better workforce?
Just let him dance.
Not workforce. Sorry, work environment rather. Work. Jesus Christ, I'm getting now I want to strangle that fucking idiot.
I have that effect on people. Let's go.
Find other things to talk about. I mean, to be honest with you, I did the first show and I was flat out told by Tim, okay, you need to be angrier. You need to be edgier. You need to do this. This is what we want. This is why we want you to do the show.
Of course.
But then if I'm going to get fucked the next day, it's not worth it. I don't need that shit.
I'm saying that's the problem.
You make me seek out reasons why, and then when I do exactly what you ask, I'm the fucking asshole.
Boom. Thank you. Fuck. That is exactly what the hell happened. And then you're going to sit here and you're going to patronize her and tell her that she has an inferiority complex and needs respect from everyone and nobody can possibly give her enough respect even though she's just doing the exact fucking job you told her to do. Fuck you.
When I had issues and talked to my
I don't think you're an asshole. I thought it was pretty good.
Here's the thing. Nobody's making you do anything. If the show is so uncomfortable for you, say, you know what, Tim, I don't feel comfortable fucking yelling.
Well, then now I will.
But you should not.
What?
Gary. Oh, yeah. You know what? You don't feel comfortable telling the truth. Then you should just go to Tim and say, Tim, I don't feel comfortable telling the truth to Gary. I'm going to tuck my pussy behind my butt and just not say anything about it. What? I mean, he is such a fucking pussy. I can't take it.
You hand a loaded gun to someone who's not afraid to shoot it in the office, and then you complain about the bullet holes after the fact.
It's insane. Yeah. You did. You gave somebody a loaded gun.
Yeah.
And you said, it's target practice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right. But all of a sudden, because you became one of the targets, you're upset about it. That was it. That's the genesis. That's the alpha and the omega here. And ultimately, yes, I know, guys, it's all fodder for the air. Some of it might be, hyper.
I don't think so in this case.
No, God, no. This bled over into reality, and that's why it made for such great fucking radio or TV, as the case may be.
I wanted it to be fun, but if this is going to be the fallout of it, it's not fun.
I liked it.
What part of last night's show did you think would be fun for me?
Gary, if I thought you were mature enough like Scott to actually have the discussion with me after and we could work it out, that would be fine. But you chose to come in here and we're going to discuss it and it's going to be what it is. And you're going to tell me I have issues and that's going to be it.
She nailed it.
Yeah,
she
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's 1,000% right. You decided to, instead of hearing what I was saying, even you did hear it. You heard exactly what I said on the radio. And instead of addressing the issues that I'm bringing up, you're instead inventing issues that I have.
Yeah.
And then instead of personally invited me to your office to discuss the things that I said, even though they've been going on for months. You decided to bring it up on the fucking air. And so now if you want to have it out this way, Gary, let's have it out. You can look like a goddamn Forrest Gump on the air. I don't care.
The only time someone on the air I can think of that absolutely handled it perfectly was right after it was the bro fight, the beginning of the bro fight, where Artie was just silent for most of it and let them go blah, 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 blah. And then finally, just when he gets in, it's a fucking right shot to the kidneys and they can't recover. And because they're 79, 78, 77, the three of these IQs don't add up enough to fill your fucking gas tank. And at the end of the day, you've got an office, let's call her what they said she is, an office manager who's above standing intelligence, about standing intelligence, and she's got a mouth and she's willing to use it and she's not afraid and she's got balls. Tracy, we're on Team Tracy. Sorry.
Listen, there are so many times where I can ha through episodes, which I do.
Oh, sure.
This is not one of them for me. For me, this is like my core is clenched. I am ripped, ready to go. Team Tracy.
Yep.
Ask me on the air and Howard plays the clips the next day.
Did anything I say, was anything I said not true?
Maybe this is is this the thumbnail?
Throw a shrimp in that fucking pie hole. Jesus Christ. This is the thumbnail. You nailed it. How do you do that every time? The Robin ones, this one. You're just like a maverick by chance.
It's just, I don't know if my magic frame,
it's
my magic
so
mouse
perfect. It's so perfect.
It's all these years. It's all these years of playing Sporkle.
I explained why
he doesn't play Sporkle.
He doesn't play Sporkle. Okay.
I explained why I didn't bring it to the ski house.
I'm sure he doesn't even know what it is.
Why I canceled the Friars Club. I did not feel I was demeaning you when I asked you to empty the refrigerator, but if you feel that way, I apologize.
Okay, if you feel that way, that's not an apology. Guys, you got to learn, you got to learn these things. Qualifying your apology is not an apology. I'm sorry, you say, I'm sorry I asked you to do it. That's an apology.
It's making you feel insane.
Yeah.
When you apologize like that. It's really, for every man or woman, if you apologize like that, you're a psycho.
Well, you're at the very least. At the very least, you're a bargain basement garage sale asshole, and that's.
You're gonna be divorced. So have fun.
Yeah,
but I needed it to get emptied because it was gross.
His rap on the refrigerator was that you're the office manager and the whole office was using his refrigerator and he didn't want to throw out everyone's food. So he felt that you should.
Don't say no because no is what I think. You don't know.
There is a reason why we bought another refrigerator. You didn't want anyone using your refrigerator.
Right. Okay, here we go, guys.
Yes.
But before we do, go ahead. All right, ready?
No, let's go. I can't wait.
All right.
So how am I supposed to fucking know whose shit is in there? You said and it wasn't about cleaning it out because it was gross. They were coming to work on the air conditioning system here, okay? They were turning off the power and you thought things were going to go bad. And you said, I don't really know what in here is mine and what's mine. And we need to get this out of here because they're turning it off. And I said, okay, Gary. And I picked up a garbage can. I said, Gary, is this yours? You said no. So I threw it in the garbage. Picked up the next thing.
Now listen to that fucking cocksucker try to explain it away, saying it's her problem right now. She's being angry. It's her fault. Instead of addressing the fact that he did what he did and not denying it, by the way.
I'm just going to listen to the golden, wonderful magic that's coming out of Tracy's mouth. I'm going to respect
her dulcet tones.
The Millman fucking hammer. Boom.
Is this because you couldn't do this? You needed to call me in to stop what I'm fucking doing to clean out your refrigerator?
See, how do you respond to that? This is how when somebody talks like
I'll tell you how to respond to that. I'll tell you. You say, how am I supposed to respond to that? You're supposed to say, you know what? It was super disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because you feel that way. It's because I feel in hindsight that was a very demeaning task for me to give you, especially since I haven't laid out the organization of this office. You didn't deserve, as the woman an office manager of this office, even though you bought a second refrigerator and didn't get the task to tell other people to use it.
Yeah, okay.
You deserve more respect.
Okay, here's the thing. She nailed him perfectly. She said, if you were mature enough to have this conversation, he's not mature. He's quite the opposite. And he's made this about being insulted instead of addressing them point by point.
Do you want to know psychologically what this is? This is because Mary is the boss ass bitch of that house. And she
tells him who's getting what chicken.
Around. So Gary turns this around for all his psychological abuse of being such a fucking pussy boy in his own house and having Mary and doesn't. So he cheats on her. He does whatever the fuck he does in his spare time.
We don't know that, but Howard has said that on the air. And we're pretty sure he does. We don't know, but that's been said. And
okay,
again,
I'm pretty sure he does.
When it was said, he also had an equally shitty answer, which was, you don't know that.
No, and didn't we also get from, he goes on vacations and he's been seen with.
Oh, yes. Stuttering John said it on his show that he went out to the West Coast and he saw Ross Zapin and
Gary entertaining women.
A couple of chicks, and they're like, he's like, oh, what are you doing? What's going on? And he was told to keep it hush hush. And the only reason to do that is because you're fucking about. So, anyway,
I'm going to say that's what I think. So he goes from this household. Okay. He feels like the king in this office. And so now instead of taking out what he really wants to say in his own personal life, whether it has to do with Howard or it has to do with Mary, he's going to put it on fucking Tracy. Like a moron, the person who's least deserving of this.
Well, don't we always say shit rolls downhill? And if he's going to get shit on by the boss, he's got to give it to someone else. Otherwise, he'll snap.
Because he can't give it to his wife and he can't give it to Howard.
No, but and so Tracy's going to have to. And the problem comes when you have an underling, quote marks, that will not take your bullshit and call you on it and is not afraid to lose her job as a result of it and isn't afraid of you because you've established through all the other quote unquote underlings that they can do anything. They can make fun of you and your teeth and never get fired. So she's safe.
And she's also not afraid to say that you guys wanted me to do the show. If you think it's a bad idea, I will stop doing it. This has nothing to do. This show that she said this stuff and they prompted her to say this, by the way, to get it off of her chest, according to them, just like 5 seconds ago with Tim Sabian pushing it. You guys push this. So she doesn't care if it goes away or if it doesn't. Her job, she has integrity. Hello. Do you guys know that word? Integrity? None of you have it besides her right now in this room. Between Robin, Fred, Howard, Gary, zero.
They're all pussies. She's the only lion in the room.
Yep.
Reading, and it's demeaning, Gary. And if you don't see it that way, that's your issue. And this is an example of why I think you're an elitist. Why you think that's okay. I don't even sit in the bullpen. Why didn't you ask Jason to go in and do it?
I'm already tuned out. And I don't mean like I don't care what you say.
You normally are when I talk to you about anything.
I don't mean I don't care what you say. I mean there's no talking to you at this point. There's no talking to you. You're
Oh, you fucking cowardly fucking pussy. Yeah.
You don't like the way it sounds. That would be like Fillmore right now saying, Samantha, you're getting a little too vocal about your opinions. I'm tuning you out.
You're getting uppity. I love that word.
I'm not an uppity Karen.
That might be the greatest. I don't use that because I keep hearing it all the time. The term Karen, but it might be just about the most perfect name for that, whatever that designation that people have started using.
That's not Tracy.
No. That there's a reason why it's not Tracy. It could be Jenny, but it's not. It's became Karen.
It ain't Tracy. I'll tell you who's a Karen. It would be like a Marcy. A Marcy is a Karen.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You're on.
Now the other accusation
put your foot on the fucking gas and throwing a brick on it. You're not going to hear another word.
Okay. All right, but the other accusation was there was one other one that I thought was the one that I felt I could help you with. That Gary doesn't like. Sometimes he'll send Will or Jason down to your office to tell you something. But I have to admit, I get Gary in here sometimes, and I say to him, Gary says, I can cancel the meeting if I can get through 50 things. So he starts, and I start giving him a whole bunch of stuff to do. He says, make sure you tell Tracy right away. He turns to Will or Jason. He says,
okay, now again, this is where the shit really rolls downhill. Howard makes himself so inaccessible that Gary has no fucking FaceTime with him, and he probably won't respond to his calls or emails and give him a yes or no. That's because that's how Howard likes it, because he doesn't want to say yes or no. He just wants things to happen magically.
He just wants you to read his mind.
Right, and he also wants you to take the fall in case there is a decision made. It's not his. You decided. I made you the manager. You're going to take the shit if this fucks up. So it's not on me. And then she has even less time with Gary as a result, because he has loads of time for Tracy. Gary has loads of time for Tracy, doesn't want to talk to her because he's afraid of her. He has zero time with Howard because Howard doesn't want him to.
It's a straw man argument again with the time, though, because Gary gets there at a certain time in the morning. Howard's not even there. Gary leaves at a certain time after the show's over. He's not there. There is multiple times a day, especially when the show is going, that you can send an email, intercom. By the way, intercom. You can press a fucking button and say, hey, Tracy.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, let's say Tracy comes in later. Let's say for the argument, they're not even in the same shift. You get a bunch of emails, you get a bunch of notes, whatever. You leave them for her, and she can read them when she gets there and follow the directives. That's probably not even happening.
No, none of it. And so that's her argument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you tell Tracy to cancel the meeting, because he knows, like, Doug Hurwood comes over here and a whole bunch of guys come down.
Sure, absolutely.
So he says, go tell Tracy, I can't do this right now. I need to meet with Howard. I've got 3 seconds during a commercial. So
but that should already be in place, though. That protocol when that happens.
That's the word. Absolutely.
So the person who should know that, Tracy should know, if in case something like that happens, I should be expecting an email from Jason. Except for that doesn't happen in this office.
Oh, so he uses them as conduits to you.
Absolutely. And I understand that.
Oh, you do?
But I feel like I think that was just one example, the meeting of things that happens with. And I think a lot of the times it's like, I don't know who thinks what, but it's like, as back to the meeting, it'll be canceled. And I'll say, hey, is the meeting canceled? He'll say, I don't know yet. I'm going to talk to Howard, see what I can get through.
Right.
Fine. Absolutely. But then like a half an hour later, I'll come out. Is the meeting canceled? And Jason will say, yeah, Gary didn't tell you. And Gary say, yeah, Jason should have told you.
Okay, hold on for a sec. And there's a wrap-up show bit where he says Jason claims that never happened, but that's Jason covering his ass. I believe Tracy. There's no way she's going to make up a lie, like one lie, just one lie.
Well, when people make up a lie, you can tell how they're padding it. This is just coming right off the tongue. It's very matter of fact. Lying.
Yeah.
Well, somebody tell me. I mean,
but that's not. But that's not your complaint. Your complaint is that I send underlings to talk to you, and that's insulting and demeaning. That's the complaint.
No, it's that you can't address me yourself.
That's exactly what you said.
It's that you won't address me yourself.
That's what I just said.
But sometimes
it's not about the underling. I don't give a shit who does it. It's about the fact that you don't do it.
But that would be sending someone else. That's exactly what bothers you.
But I don't call them underlings or whatever.
Well, that's how you feel.
I just feel like you don't address me directly on things.
Okay, now this is where I have to give her a little stick, because originally she said it was the fact that information was not getting to her. And I'm sure that's what she means. Like, at this point, she's getting flustered and forgetting to add that point, even though she's already made the point.
Well, Gary is doing the thing where he can see a point that he can stick to that will make her seem like a liar.
Or unstable or something.
Unstable, angry.
Yeah, unreliable.
And it's not just the meeting. It's if this is broken, if that's broken, if something's not working.
For you to be upset,
the intercom button.
For you to be upset because the bathroom's flooded, you are the office manager.
I'm not upset about that.
Who else would I tell?
I'm not upset about that.
You only call me when the fucking bathroom's broken.
Yeah.
She's saying
that's just not true.
But you don't call me for anything else.
That's just not true, Tracy. You know that's not true.
That's the way I feel, Gary.
I know, because you are
you're entitled to yours.
You're the victim of this conspiracy.
You are not a victim of a conspiracy. You hear me, Tracy? You are not a victim of a conspiracy. The conspiracy is the illogical disorganization of this office that you have said yes to be hired in knowing the circumstances. And unfortunately, it's storming against you in a whirlwind of bullshit right now being spun in your fucking face. And I feel so sorry for you.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think she was a fan before she got hired, or a like moderate fan possibly?
Possibly a moderate fan, just because I hear the way she talks.
Yeah.
And she's very like, so most New Jersey people, you know, they're fans of the Howard Stern show.
Well, I'm not.
Jersey.
I can't tell I can't tell where she's from.
She's got to be from a Staten Island, Jersey, New York borough, like New York City borough. She has to be from somewhere like
somewhere
that
in New York
to have
State,
that accident.
for sure, right?
Not my area. She's not in Western New York, but she's definitely somewhere from New York in that realm.
I find that fascinating that you guys can suss that out. You know, like the way Brits can tell if someone's from West London, or if they can tell they're from you know, they're from Cornwall or somewhere. You know what I mean?
I don't say Jersey because it's not that hard. It has to be.
It's not Philly. It's not Philly, right?
No. She's got a New York accent, but I can't tell from which borough exactly.
Anyway, if we get to interview her, I'd love to find out her what she knew about the show beforehand, other than, you know, what most people would think of the show, and if she was a fan, because that would paint the argument. That would paint this whole in a whole different light, because you really got to go in forearms to deal with this bullshit and know that who's the idiot, and you know, Bowie's one of the top idiots in the organization.
Actually, I gotta listen to a Philly accent. I've listened to them sometimes at football games.
Yeah.
And after interviews, but I can't really tell if that's that. I don't think so, but keep going.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I got to tell you. All right, here's my evaluation. Okay. Number one, the show was a home run.
Do it more.
Well, listen, that's up to Tracy if she wants to do the show.
She clearly has the anger to do it.
It's not anger, you fucking idiot. It's literally, these are my beefs. This is how I'm expressing them. It's not anger.
It's exactly how she was prompted to speak, by the way, by Tim Savian, and it's anger now because of how you're addressing her.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, she also is doing a performance.
In fact, I have a strange feeling that there's a part 2 of me that's ready to go.
Is there? Because then
I think I'm done with Gary.
Then I have to get back on the air.
Don't be afraid. I don't think you are anyway.
If I was, I wouldn't have done it the first time.
What up?
I love how he can't make eye contact with her one bit.
Don't be afraid, but I'm so afraid to even fucking look at you when I'm saying this shit as I fold my fucking arms.
Right.
With a Sopranos tracksuit, like you're fucking Polly Walnuts.
I can't help it, Dee. I've never been to Italy.
Fuck off. Tracy's like totally Tony Soprano dressing him down. Bye.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone loves the show. But, you know.
Except me.
You don't. You shouldn't do it.
And my agita. I just quit smoking. I can't deal with this shit. I can't deal with this. I just want to go smoke a pack of Marlboro Reds.
Oh, forget it. You know, when I quit smoking, I had just broken my ankle.
And that was my poison of choice. If I couldn't get Camel Lights, it would be Marlboro Lights, actually.
Oh, my God. When I was a teenager, Marlboro Lights were my... Oof.
There's nothing worse than sitting around the house not smoking when you break your ankle.
There's a war going on, but there's nothing. I know it's not the same time, guys, but that's the worst thing when you break your leg and you can't smoke. Who says you can't smoke? You can smoke if you're on dialysis. If you're in the hospital getting chemo, you can smoke somewhere. Fuck.
So, airport.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Listen, you two will patch it up. I know that.
I just want to say something. Like Tracy said, I've only taken her to lunch 3 times since we've been here. I think I've only taken Will to lunch once, and Jason probably never.
What a great boss.
That sounds so nice.
That sounds wonderful.
I don't take anyone. Like, I have Laura and I have been working together for
This is great. Listen to this.
Million years. We very rarely even sit down and talk.
I think that what
his personal assistant.
I don't talk to people. I don't take them anywhere. You want to work for me?
Exactly.
Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
Tracy is saying is that she sees a difference. You have a relationship
more
and a
with the other
guy, with the other people, and you treat her just like an employee.
I think what Tracy's saying, which is unbelievable, she actually wants to hang out with you, and I'll tell you the truth, I'm shocked.
Me too.
I mean, wow.
Mr. Folded Arms, wannabe Christopher.
Tracy, come over to my house. We'll listen to some Steely Dan on vinyl.
This was another thing that I brought up. It's I made the comment.
You want to
about,
hang out with Fafa Fooey?
When I talked about how he tells the stories and and it's he can be a little repetitive. There's a couple of stories I've heard a couple of times. But he really is very interesting, and he's done some cool things. He's been to some cool places, hung out with cool people. I do enjoy his company.
Yes.
But if it's, a struggle to get it, it's just not worth the struggle.
All right. She wants more of you.
Yeah. She's.
I wish I got a picture of that. His eyes downtrodden completely just downcast.
He's an emasculated piece of crap right now. I love it.
I want to go through one day that clip of him telling about how he doesn't get the chicken parts he likes, and the kids get served first, and then Howard started doing this Fred Flintstone shit like, my dad always got served first.
Yeah. Just keep the dressing down going. I'm enjoying this.
Saying that she'd like some of your attention. And it's also very strange for me because, before I worked here, when I worked for Harvey and I were very close. Harvey is family to me.
Yeah.
And to not have a relationship with anyone that I consider in that type of role, it sucks. It sucks. And I feel sometimes like I have no one to go to when I need something for work.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't matter.
That's brutal. Like that's not being able to have someone above you to tell about stuff that's going on because A, you don't think it's going to get dealt with, or B, there's no access whatsoever. It's got to be beyond stressful.
Oh, well, I love my director and I have a great relationship with him.
Sure.
But, I do that on purpose. And people who really aren't good communicators who have said or talked shit, I always give a good word for them. And I always say, hey, so-and-so is really doing, and I send an email sometimes and I'm like, so-and-so did a really good job with this, or so-and-so did a really good job with that. So that way I know it'll prompt him to go say something to make them feel good because I know he's not like a nicey person. So you have to sometimes, I get where she's coming from.
Yeah, you got to finesse the workers a little bit.
Matter to you the way it does to me, the things that I have to deal with.
I don't. I'm unavailable to everyone, so I understand Gary's. I really don't want to meet with anyone. The less meetings I have, the better.
You see me. You come down the hall, and I run to my office not to bother you.
Yeah, I love that.
Jesus Christ! More proof he doesn't mix with the hoi polloi.
Oh my God, he's like Ellen DeGeneres.
Absolutely.
I thought you were I thought like everyone else, you don't even want to see me. Go ahead. So listen, so what's going to be the outcome here? Tracy, you think you should continue doing the show even though it's a hit? Maybe you should think about walking away from it.
Oh, yeah, because it's going to be on you.
Exactly.
It's going to be on you, Tracy.
You're the new Oprah.
Oh, great. Look at me. Oh, I always wanted to be Oprah. I'll take her money, but I don't want her fucking job.
You're Oprah without the money.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Not any fun there.
The show is a hit, but
I got to say, this is where for me, Tracy and I are going to part ways. For me, if I was in this position, I wouldn't agonize a thought about it. I would have been like, why are you asking me if I want to keep a job that you gave me, that you said I'd be good at, that you said I'm good at, that you think is entertaining?
Which I doubt she got paid for, by the way.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Do I want to keep this? That's not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
in your wheelhouse. And I do want to keep this fucking job because I'm good at it.
This is very hard to do.
If we could find something outside the compound to piss me off, maybe, but I'm done back here.
Yeah, well, you work a lot of hours, so I'm sure you're pissed off mostly about work. Gary, you took a hit last night. Are you and Tracy going to be able to get past this?
At some point, we'll figure it out. I mean, it always sort of does, but today it's a very open wound for me, and I think I'm entitled to that.
That's right.
Well,
now it's one for me too.
What about Lisa G?
I think neither of us really
meant to come. Yeah, I don't. It's whatever.
Doing a show, sometimes you feel the pressure to keep the show going. Right. Now you know my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I apologize for the quick edits, guys. I just didn't add much of a transition. Sorry about that. I
say a lot of shit. I get off the air. I get blamed for a lot of stuff, and I go, I don't even know I said it.
Yeah, that's another fucking NPD bullshit.
It goes so fast you don't even.
Yeah, you don't know.
Like I was up all night. Like, did I say that or did I think that? Yeah.
I don't know, Tracy. It's tough, this radio business.
Yeah.
It's lonely. It's lonely.
I want to be Fred. Fred's got it easy.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's another it's a sidewise swipe at Fred who does nothing, and now it really is fucking easy. God, he's on easy street.
And it's also a notification of you want to be the man who has a wall built around him on purpose.
Yeah, under the table, completely.
You want to be
under the radar.
built in a fucking dugout.
Yeah.
For the
that
bombs.
Place, big time.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
I'll do it.
That's it.
I'll do it.
Well, I think
in time it'll fix itself.
It'll work itself out. You
like
guys
he
will
said,
do
will it be today? No.
No. Maybe
do I
tomorrow.
want to call it the end of the day today?
A lot of it will have to do
Have
with
it fixed by tomorrow.
And a lot of it will have to do if you resign.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we get into it, guys, and I really want you to pay attention to this because it gets infuriating.
Yeah. So I'm going to shut up and pay attention.
Exactly. No sense fixing this. If the end of the year is the end of it, why should we fix it?
Let me talk about that for a second. First of all, we're talking about, I was counting everyone, May, now watch my math. You ready? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
Yeah, we're all counting.
That's
we know.
8 months.
Yeah. You think
Not
that's a
7 months.
You think that's a lot of time?
It's a year.
It's not a year.
It's not a year.
Fucking cocksucker.
I'm sorry. Fillmore, is it year 12 months?
No, not in the feline calendar.
Oh.
Not in the pelican calendar.
I must be missing a few cats in Photoshops. Sorry.
Yeah, big time.
Year is 12 months.
You're saying 8 months is not a year?
It's not a year.
How many months in a year then?
12. 3/4 of a year.
Oh,
What am I, Lupe?
I didn't know
Come on.
that.
No, but it's
3
It's amazing.
Even that is it's just so wrong. It's so bad math.
It's a year. 8 months sounds like an inordinate amount of time.
It does if
It
you
sounds
know.
like a lifetime. We could all be dead in 8 months.
It's a long time if you know.
Yeah, maybe something will hit this building and I won't make it out.
Robin still can't walk down those steps.
Like I've already had a couple of people ask to, they need some time with me privately, and I know where that's going.
Who asked for
I'm not going to say.
Tell them come in.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So this isn't just a Tracy problem. This is a office problem.
All the way around.
And Robin
Yep.
still not walking down steps. Has anybody seen her lately?
Answer all their questions.
But I know where that's going, and I understand.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Right.
Because Beth said to me last night when I go do all these interviews.
Did you love that?
What if some of the interviews ask me what you're going to do in 8 months? I should tell them that.
How am I supposed to live with this question?
I'm just going to turn this into a whole propaganda wheel of celebrity jerk off and no calls and back office callers. I'm going to pretend are callers, and I'm going to just complain about my life in a mansion.
Unbelievable.
Truth. How the hell do I know? I don't have any offers on the table.
Crazy.
The big question I'm getting, I think, is at what
Except
point,
for 2.
At what point is it fair to start looking for another job? In other words, if it were October.
Right now is the time to start looking.
If it were September.
I don't know how to answer that. I don't want to lose
Would you be
anybody.
mad at somebody?
How don't you know how to answer that?
He goes, I don't want to lose.
Answer that.
He just said, I don't want to lose anybody. You don't want to lose anybody. Tell them when you're fucking re-signing, shithead, well in advance. That's why this is Sussy's. This was Sussy before this happened. Actually, no.
Oh my God.
He left.
You
he
guys
left
are crashing towards the iceberg in the Titanic, but
Yep.
yet the captain is Howard, who knows that the iceberg is there and he's not telling you.
He's getting a Hummer.
A Hummer from Ralph.
Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty much the same. Yeah, don't shout at the alarm. Nothing's going to happen. It's fine.
They went and took another job in September because.
Of course not.
He goes, would you get upset if someone took another job? Then Sussy went in there the same day or the day before and got 40 minutes of why the fuck are you leaving?
These sort of confrontations are air raid drills for the nuclear holocaust of their careers.
Yeah, there's really evil people.
I have a tremendous responsibility here. There's a lot of people who depend on me to keep working. And I don't know what I'm doing. So how do I answer the question?
Who cares?
I think there's a lot of people,
Tracy?
Right.
A lot of
or
people.
am I a douchebag?
Well, you know.
Yes, you
Am I a douchebag, Tracy?
No.
Oh, am I a fucking asshole?
No.
Oh, thank you.
But it's
Thank God.
Is he
it's
a
not
piece
like
of shit?
Am I a piece of shit? All right, not so much.
No.
Am I a little
Fucking piece of shit.
Am I a fucking piece of shit? I don't know.
Now, Tracy, I love this. I don't know what I'm doing. Fucking cock smoking asshole. And Tracy, actually, I know she has to couch it in such a way she's not going to get in shit, but she's very astute here when she does let him know, like, dude, you don't fucking tell people in advance you're going to lose people, and you did lose people, and you're going to continue to lose people. So, I mean, this is 2010. Think about 2020 and everything. So,
what to do? It's not up to me.
I feel like you can't base your life on everybody else.
Right. But I do.
I feel like, you know, it's kind of weird. You're in this catch-22 that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Right.
And you've done your time, and you should be able to do whatever the hell you want to do.
But maybe I should announce now I'm leaving. But I don't know.
Exactly. But at the same time, the people that work here, especially in today's economy, will.
Essentially, in today's economy, you should be telling people who are you not even paying well or what they're worth that you are done.
Mm-hmm.
We found out in December, like 700,000 people stopped looking for jobs.
Right.
People are going to start looking, and you could find yourself in a situation in September where you have no staff.
I know.
Howard, there are very, very, very talented people, and
Who are they?
You know one of them. It's a guy that used to work for us, who I think is an incredibly talented guy. It took him 18 months to find a job.
That's true. I know who you mean.
And I think that guy's an amazing talent.
He is.
And that's a long time to be out of work.
Wait a minute. So he just said, who? And then he goes, I know. Who? I don't know who you're talking about. Huh?
It's a friend.
I know.
It's a friend
I know
of
what
his.
I know who you mean.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what we're supposed to do. I am really.
Get you every time. You're a sucker for that one, aren't you? I don't know what to do. I'm in peril.
I'm in the fetal position, jerking myself off. I have no idea.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about?
JD.
I feel betrayed by me too.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I don't. I can't just say I have a job here in 8 months. How could I say that?
What?
Jesus, I did it again. Yeah, I'm telling you, fear-based. He loves it. He loves them all fucking hanging on us by their fingernails every fucking time.
He really is a nuclear power that's just stressing that he is going to drop that Holocaust on you at any point in time, but he's just not sure when.
No.
It's not up to me if I have a job in 8 months.
Of course it is.
Oh, it is?
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, I thought it's up to Mel.
It now.
I think the thing that's really...
Who's my ball?
Nobody.
Howard,
so who am I supposed to sign with?
I think the thing that's really freaking people out.
I don't want to work anymore.
Is that nobody even knows
freaking me out.
If there's talks or any efforts being made.
There's no.
Oh God, here we go.
Talks.
See, that's interesting to me from all perspectives. Why aren't they talking to you? Why aren't you talking to them?
They offered to talk to me.
He won't talk.
I'm not talking.
So yeah, you are the asshole.
Oh.
Yeah, you are the asshole.
This is diplomacy failing.
This is good. Flying to the G7, whatever summit, and then not getting off the plane and just saying, "I'm not meeting now." Fuck this.
This is texting to the G7.
I just sent you a happy emoji.
Jesus
I see the trouble Tracy got into.
See? Keep your mouth shut. You're better
No, you're
off.
right. I don't know what.
Fuck you.
Like, I think if people felt they knew some sort of negotiation was going on.
No, it's very complicated.
Well, that would mean he knew what he wanted to do. That's where he is.
It's not complicated, and he has nowhere else to go.
It's not complicated. If you want to know where you are, you have to show up and you have to speak.
Well, this is the thing. Don't you think it's a little odd? Don't you think somebody in the compound, especially Gary, would have had to have known before?
No. I think that
you think from top to bottom he just told nobody?
I think he told nobody, and that's why I think Robin's saying what she's saying, because I think she's irritated.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he doesn't know what
I know what I want to do.
Huh?
I know what I want.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Well, this is new.
I want to stick my head in an oven.
Okay.
Oh,
let's all stick.
You fuck. You motherfucking fuck. You just sit there and it's like, these people's lives are in the balance and you're joking around.
He really is that kid from the Twilight Zone, putting him out in the cornfield. Unbelievable.
Our heads in the oven.
Oh, and a shout out to Dame Bethman, by the way. Amazing latest blog post. She took the silhouettes of Beth and Howard against the wall.
I loved it.
And she compared them to the Jack in the Box, the guy in that Twilight Zone episode who gets sent out of the cornfield.
I have a theory on what I think you want to do. May I put it out there?
Go ahead.
Why do you have a theory?
Because you hear things. I think that you would like to continue here, but on your own terms.
Right.
I think you have terms that you want. I think you'd like to continue doing this. I think you love satellite radio over terrestrial radio greatly.
Yes.
And I think that you just like to work. There's certain things that you'd like to do.
Yes. Yes, but that's complicated. It's simple.
It's complicated.
Oh,
it's arithmetic.
So everybody's job's in the balance based on your laziness.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and yet it's complicated.
But why aren't you talking to anybody about it since you know what you want to do?
Right.
Why wasn't I invited to the ski house?
Redirection. Can't answer.
Deflect.
Yeah.
So I could sit in that shitty little room.
No, but wait a
Be in
minute.
your
Jason
underwear
and
with,
fart.
with Jason.
Robinson brings up a point.
I can't believe Tracy wants to go to the ski house. Take her there. Punish her by taking her there.
I know. Why aren't you talking to somebody if you want? If you have, you know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Then I don't believe he knows what he wants to do because he'd be talking.
Fuck off, Robin. You know full well.
There are people.
But this is the underlying Tracy Gary argument is something.
Yeah.
But this is a layered problem because of one, the economy, which we are dealing with that has nothing to do with the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
Two, because of that, it is enveloping the situation where these people need to know if they have a job. The fact that they don't is an underlying issue. So the communication issue is huge because they need to know that they feel important and that they are needed. And if they don't, they're worried they're going to lose their jobs. And that is just as simple as anything. The fact that he is sitting here and joking about it right now, this is what the issue is at the core. The Gary thing is an issue, which we talk about and we laugh about and we can, dissect. But the real issue is the fact that all of them are on the fucking chopping block like Salem witches in the trials, ready to be goddamn hanged and not have a goddamn job. And that's really what the matter is.
Well, I mean, think about it, guys. We had the Richie Wilson interview, and he explained that Beth told Rachel, you guys better start looking for work now because he's not bringing you back. You had to hear it from his fucking beard, not from him. And she had to do it
that was a gracious thing.
Yes, and that was probably she was probably afraid of what would happen if it got out, that she gave up that information.
That didn't get out until we did that interview, by the way.
That's right.
Nobody knew that. Beth did the noble thing because
which is
she's
amazing.
Trapped. And as much as I don't like Beth, and I think she deserves what she deserves, at least she warned them, listen, get out.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, she told them because she knew they'd keep it to themselves at the time, for sure. And that's why she felt safe doing it. So you got to give her credit for that, at least.
Because it's more complicated. There are other situations involved now.
That just stopped everybody.
There are other situations.
What?
It's not that simple. It's going to take a long time to sort this out.
Complicated.
I know. This dumb show is complicated. Now listen.
It's got a lot of moving parts.
But here's
I'm planning my fucking lawsuit.
The thing.
No. He's planning his lawsuit, and he's also planning his days off, his 3 days a week. He's planning his I want millennial shit staff to work for me for less and fire the people who've been for me for longer.
He's also thinking of how much am I cutting from everybody else's salary because I'm getting a pay cut.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
The fact that people are afraid, because I would be very annoyed by this situation, that we don't know what's going to happen in 8 months.
Prick.
I could either be out of the business or I could be onto something exciting and new that would include all of us, which is what would be the ideal situation.
Like what?
Group.
Like what? What is
exciting and new?
What? I'm thinking of the platforms back then.
Yeah.
What exactly do you think you're going on to?
In 2010, nothing, unless he's going streaming, but then he's putting up his own money. Yeah, he'd have to.
He would have to go on what? Let's see. A
2010?
YouTube show?
Yeah, pretty much. Some kind of streaming, or maybe Vimeo, or which is, I think, owned by YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. But there's nothing he could think of.
HBO? No.
Right. And actually, I think it was, it was not too long ago I read in the Marks Friggin, he was talking about HBO turned him down for the Howard TV thing, maybe around this time. Yeah. So I'm like, I wonder why. He bitched about how cheap they were for fucking 20 years, but then he goes begging to them for fucking TV coverage, money to make a TV show. Come on.
After you just had people on from The Sopranos when you said that they paid you fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah. People have long memories in show business of people that have stepped on their fucking backs trying to claw their way to the top.
When you think you're the king, keep going.
Yeah. Yep.
Despite you and Tracy not getting along, I love the two of you. This is just, it's going to resolve itself. I know that.
They're created by man. We can solve them by man.
Right, Tim. We have a fun group. We all have a good time together.
The show works.
I think you should have Tracy to the ski house. Well, so you can see what a shithole it is.
Here's the funniest thing of all.
And she's going to get on the air and say, Gary invited me to that shithole.
Last week, can I
hold on for a minute?
Say something? Last week.
Can Tracy go up there today?
I got to bring this up. Last week, Mary came to me, and her exact words were, we need to have Richard and Sal and Tracy up to the house. They haven't been to the house yet.
Well, maybe you ought to, Tracy.
I don't know. I have a hard time.
Yeah, it's a little weird now.
That's a little weird now.
Like, I got to wait a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Mary. The thought was worth something, I suppose. I don't know if they ever made it there.
It's hard to have somebody at your house who hates you.
Tracy just wants to sit at that shitty movie theater of yours.
I never said I hated you.
It felt that way. That's
okay.
what. You know what? That's what I heard.
Well, let me tell you something. Tracy wants to sit in that shitty movie theater in those shitty bar stools.
She wants to try a stool.
Yeah. By the way, unlike Tracy, I don't want to go to your home. I've been there. It's enough. Once is enough.
Oh God, yes, we're well into covering that asshole.
Maybe if Tracy went there once, she'd get out of her system.
I've been there twice. It's really nice.
Your Fred's been there. Fred's seen the second half.
Fred has been there twice.
Yeah, nice. See,
Really
I told
nice
you I
house.
wanted to be Fred.
You'd like it.
In all fairness, one of the times Fred was at my house, we were on our way to go visit Artie. It wasn't like it was a pleasure trip.
Why?
Oh God, here we go.
Wasn't Tracy visiting Artie?
I'm not sure why Fred and I went to visit Artie.
You know how much fun it is visiting Artie?
I'm not sure if Artie wanted Fred.
Fuck you. You're fucking throwing him under the bus for no good reason, prick.
Tracy, you missed out on a great day.
But it was a nice trip.
All right.
Oh, it's so
Gee, I
fun
can't imagine being in that
visiting
shitty ski house and then going to visit Artie. Being in Gary's life.
4 months in, you haven't replaced him, you haven't talked about him, you haven't said bullshit, and now you're gonna fucking knock his dick in while he's off the air. Just
the only reason why you fucking even have fans at this point is because of Artie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only fucking reason.
Oh yeah.
To keep pissing him away.
Is second to none.
I love the ski house, but
I'm going to give you some advice, Tracy. Stay out of Gary's life. You have no idea how horrible it is.
It's fine.
It's
fine. I'm out.
Get out.
An evil loop.
It sounds better on paper.
Yeah.
All right, you two will be fine. Tracy, you did a good job on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, a little bit more, guys. Almost done.
You let it all out. You let the poison out.
I let the poison out.
You certainly did.
I was thinking about that the other day too. Somebody sent a note last night that said that Tracy's going to die of a heart attack. I have the exact opposite feeling. I've always felt like, in some ways, you have a lot in common with Pat Cooper. I think Pat Cooper's going to live to be 1,000 because he holds nothing in.
That's true.
You know what? The poison's always out for Pat Cooper.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
You do let that fucking shit out because, anyway, fuck, nobody cares. I'm sorry, guys.
No,
when you do
you're
road
right.
rage, rather than pull out a gun and go after people, I just swear at them a lot in the car.
No, I do this.
Yeah.
I do this show.
I think
this is how you get your poison out.
We're gonna live to be 100, Fillmore, and we'll be slapping each other in wheelchairs. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's a very healthy way. I don't know. I just think that when you let it out like that, how could you be unhealthy?
Right.
Get the poison out of your system.
Well, there you go. All right,
like a chubby
Tracy,
Bodie
good
Miller.
job on the show.
Thank
Sorry
you.
it's all turned out to be a mess with you and Gary, but I think you're both rational. You'll work it all out.
We will.
Oh,
right, thank you,
fuck
Tracy.
you!
Thank you, Gary.
You walk away. You walk away. You goddamn Jersey Shore fucking cunt. I can't stand I would love for
Lily
Tracy
liver.
to just pull a gymnastic move where she just like put her hands on the ground and then like swirl kick him in the back. Knock him right through the door.
Or even better, grab him by the back of the jacket, pull him back, and say, "Not yet, not yet."
Just wring his neck.
Oh man,
Gary.
Tracy, Tracy. No, please, come on, hold up, guys.
I already spoke.
No, Gary.
We already spoke.
Did you guys really even resolve anything?
No, we didn't resolve anything except to say
Because my arms are crossed.
and so are hers actually.
that we're going to work on resolving things as time goes by.
How are you gonna?
Time. Listen,
Just
time
find those ones.
Yeah,
It's gonna be cliche like that.
No, but it does. Today I feel crappy. By Thursday I might feel better and stop by and say hello.
And that's how it's going to go. I'm not going to address anything. I'm not going to address anything. I'm just going to fold my arms and look at her, and I'm going to say the same things I did before. I'm not going to do anything differently, and maybe if I feel better, I'll talk to her.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so that's the end of that. Now I'm going to play one little clip of Donna from the wrap-up show who's excoriating him. It's a short clip, but just bear with us, guys.
Donna in Minneapolis, you're on the wrap-up show.
Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Donna. How are you?
I'm good. I think you're terrific. I've always thought that. But do you understand that you've been a bad boss to Tracy?
Well, how so?
Well, I listened to a lot of it yesterday, and what I heard was really poor communication.
I agree with you that we may have not communicated some things.
Okay, but you're the boss, right?
Right.
So who sets the tone?
Thank you, Donna. Donna, do you want to give me a call sometime? We can
exactly
chit chat. You want to come on the show? I like you.
Well, that's an interesting question.
And then I heard a lot of bad.
Yeah, that's a word. Yeah.
Bad-mouthing her when she wasn't there?
Well, wait, hold on a second. I was responding. There was a lot of bad-mouthing when I wasn't here. I was responding to it. And then I responded to it in the morning when she wasn't here. And then when she came in, we were able to communicate together.
Well, wait, before we get to that.
No, you weren't.
Well, hold on, Donna. Before we get to that. Gary,
communication's at an all-time high here, guys.
Set the tone.
It's some time.
Yeah.
Well, for what? See, you run the office. It's almost like there's two different. There's the show, and I think when I set the tone for how the show runs, and then there's she sets the tone for how the office runs because there's this huge. Donna.
I love Donna. She's like, and he's going, what the. There's when you hear two people do that. They're struggling. Yeah,
Donna, I'm not here for most of the day. There's a good chunk of the day where I'm not here. So, and it is weird. We do have some crossover.
Sorry.
Where the fuck are you?
Exactly.
But the
Marbs at the gas station, Gary.
Maybe.
In other words, it's her. It's up to her to decide. Everybody leaves at 5:30. If I want to let them go early, I can. She asks me about that, but she's running the office, the actual office.
But here's my point. Your interaction with her. For instance, when you sent someone to tell her something and they didn't tell her, and she comes in and says, well, is the meeting on or not? And the person that didn't tell her did not get, to my knowledge, reprimanded by you.
Well, the person says that never...
Boom. This is exactly my point, and my point against the person who had the commentary about our former,
So not for the previous episode.
Yeah. The person who had a comment about it. This is my point. Donna, back then, even understood this.
Well, yeah. And most of the callers in the first part were all saying, oh, what a cunt. Tracy's a cunt, this and that. And then, but it was entertaining and all that. No, she wasn't. She wasn't a cunt.
What happened?
And don't conflate it with people that you know in your experience that have been that way, because in this case, the context is completely different.
Yeah, and don't conflate it with what a cunt I am either.
I didn't use these words.
The person is Jason. Jason says, to his knowledge, that's never happened. And Donna, what does it make? So say I did reprimand the person.
Pardon?
What if I did reprimand the person? I think this whole thing about me not telling her is...
Well, you didn't, first of all, so it's irrelevant now.
What if
Yeah, what if? If you had a square asshole, you'd shit bricks, you fucking idiot.
I think it's very it's very picky. I'm just trying to get the message over there.
I knew you'd love this one. My mandate on the show is to get Sam laughing as much as possible, if I can.
Well,
I think
unless I'm an enraged psycho.
Yeah.
you're not backing up your employee.
for bashing him? No, leave the bashing out. What do you mean I'm not backing her up?
Why is she bashing you in the first place?
That's a damn good question. You should call her on the next show and ask her.
Well, no, I'm asking you because you're her boss.
Why is she bashing me?
That's great.
Are you her boss?
I am.
Then
I guess I am. You know.
I am. I guess I am. Green eggs and ham. Dr. Seuss at the rescue. Mary, give me the neck bone. Is that save the neck bone for me? I'm gonna be late.
We work together.
No, you. I don't. I'm just trying to figure it out. That that's what I heard yesterday. Is you're her boss.
I'm her boss. Tim's her boss. Hold on a second. There's a lot of levels here that are always weird. I'm her boss. Tim Sabian's her boss. But inevitably, Howard's her boss.
It's a fucking Hydra with no heads. Can you imagine? What I do? I don't know. Ask Jim. Tim, ask John. Ask him, Gary. Ask Howard. I can't get to Howard.
What is this?
I'll see you tomorrow. Rinse, repeat. Monday's no different than Friday. What kind of they didn't need to hire Marcy. They needed to hire those guys from Office Space
to hire Donna.
Yeah, Donna.
And here's a perfect example. I would not be allowed to fire Tracy. Where so that to me right away takes away like a whole boss thing.
But if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to, you could put a good argument in, and they would probably listen to you.
Yeah, but in other words,
he wouldn't be the one firing.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, for any employee here, Howard would have to know about it. In other words, I can't just say you're fired. So Howard's really the big boss, and then we're all like
he's also throwing responsibility to Howard, but he couldn't do that during the whole 2 hours. We just 4 hours we spent playing the audio.
You're all a bunch of minnows. Just
Yeah, futile.
None of you.
The Boar Collective. Jesus Christ.
In Tracy's case, I would say I'm her boss and I'm middle management.
But
this is the ultimate Darwin's theory of office management.
Her boss to have her clean out your refrigerator. Right?
Well, again, that the communication on that was unfortunate. If I had any idea, hold on, Donna.
It's worth it. No, it's all worth it. Sorry if this episode was a little slow at points, guys, but I think we're trying to make up for it now.
Was it? I felt it was great.
No, just some of the transitions there.
If I had any idea that was so upsetting to her, I wouldn't have asked her to do it. And also, if it was that upsetting to her, she probably shouldn't have waited 2 years to say it on a show when I wasn't around.
But Gary, what I heard.
But Donna, but what?
What do you do for a living? That's coming up next. Oh my fucking God. I mean, we can almost always figure out that it's going to be one way or the. Jesus Christ! Hold on, let me see if I got it.
Kat, what do you do for a living? And it's not one of those, oh, who are you? But what do you do for a living?
I love that clip. It's not gonna be one of those "who are you," but what do you do for a living? Sorry, Sam. I've injured your ribs again playing these clips.
She doesn't feel like she can talk to you, and that I think is part of your problem too, not just hers.
I disagree. I think if she'd have come into me and she said, "You know what? When you asked me to clean out the refrigerator, you really made me feel shitty," and I'd be like, "Hey, I didn't mean that at all." I mean, people know me here. I'm not on a power trip. I'm not malicious. I've never, I don't yell at people, and I don't try to make people feel small. If that happens, that can that can happen inadvertently if there's bad communication. But all you gotta do is talk to somebody.
From you.
Unbelievable. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this saga, however it pans out. This one's going to be on YouTube, whether you like it or not. Thanks to Sam for sticking through it. Thanks to Tracy for providing us with the fireworks.
Right.
And thanks to Bowie for proving that silence is golden.
Who wants to work with me?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else to say? Take care, guys. We love you.
Bye.
You know what I mean? For a burrito?
Well, they had a problem.
They got a whole no, I knew it was
There's your burrito.
I knew it was
Go ahead, eat.
There it goes.
Thanks,
Don't want it to get cold.
There
Thanks,
you go.
Rich.
Look who just got happy. There's my burrito. Somebody's hungry.
That's exactly right.
It's feeding time.
Put something in his fucking mouth.